Welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We've got Brian Falconer in the Leaf as our co-host. What's going on, bro?
Hey, man, everything is good, bro. Everything's
So,
good.
you know, the cool thing is we're actually, like, trying out something new.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
brand new.
Truly.
Like so new, I don't even know how it works.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Because you came in half-ass again.
No, I didn't come in half-assed.
Dude, you forgot the batteries.
And then I went and got them. And then when I got here, I forgot the HDMI cable
Yep.
and had to go back and get that. But that's because those are things that we normally don't need.
Yeah.
But that's because, you know,
This is
the
new.
great thing about doing it in the studio is everything just needs to stay
Where it is.
always. There's
Yeah.
dude, we got it going on in the studio nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, the cables go up around the ceiling. They're not on the floor anymore. You know, we've made a lot of progress.
True.
So
It actually looks like parcel of a studio.
yeah,
right
yeah, and you know, my son's leaving in August. When we move into the studio, I mean, the real
The
studio,
studio.
dude, it's
More
gonna,
room.
dude.
now. Perfect
You know
lighting.
what I haven't decided yet is like the two walls that will be the backgrounds. Do we want to go like a deep blue, like the logo blue for the whole wall, or do we want to stay with red? Because, you know, I went
Yeah,
with
with
red
red
originally
yeah.
because it was a lounge, you know.
But now we're in the
But
studio.
for the studio, I kind of think blue would look good.
Go green screen so you can put crazy stuff
I don't
behind
like,
it.
I hate green
But
screen.
see, that's you.
right.
Because you'll have something ignorant behind us. I want to see Cigar Talk just to see what Rob brought up this
Mm-hmm.
week. Oh, here come Larry messing with us again.
So we got, what's this here, man? Oh, we go live. Yes, we are live. How's
Yes.
it going there, Nurse Dave? This is our actually first time to ever do live on YouTube. We've done live on Facebook, which we are live there also.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's a new frontier, and we're probably going to suck at it at first, but we'll make sure that we get used to it.
Growing pains.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we've been doing Growing Pains for 3 years.
Tell the truth. Look,
So,
at
anyway, hey, I
this
want
dude is special. He forgot where his glass was.
that was my glass. That was my glass. Oh, well, muchas gracias, sir. No. See, there he's lying. He wasn't pouring
Put
it
in
for
your
me.
glass.
Thank you, sir. Whoa, that's a pour now. So anyway, hey, and this is just a prop. So anyway,
Wow.
you know, I got to give a shout out to Big Tony. Big Tony from Espinosa
Espinosa.
stopped by the Leaf this week, and he dropped off the new release of the La Raña.
Yes, sir.
And so this is supposed to be really good.
it started off good.
Mm-hmm. So I'm super excited about it. Yeah, nurse says live must be alcohol free. Yep, sure is. It is here. I'm drinking a lemonade.
Limeade.
So anyway, we got a lot of ground to cover. We got a great guest for you guys today.
Yes.
I'm going to take my glasses off. I'm not reading. So anyway, we got a great guest this week. We've got Kyle Garrett, which is the host of Dad Smoking Cigars. And, you know, I met him way back before he started his show. He's been doing it for 4 years. And we met in a really funny way. And then I never talked to him or Tim again forever. And then by chance, I was telling a story, and they were like, that was us. So I'll tell you, you'll see it in the interview.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm going to give a shout out to my little brother.
Yeah.
My little brother had a badass blackout Cleveland. Is it Cleveland? No, Cleveland. It's an Indian motorcycle.
He said Cleveland.
You know where my mind is?
Yes.
Baseball. So anyway,
As the Cowboys lost.
dude, I get a picture and a message from my sister-in-law last night about your brother's in the ER, and he doesn't know how he got there.
Yeah.
And anyway, we still don't know what happened. We don't know where his bike is. We don't know anything. But he is out of the hospital. He has a concussion, and he's in a shit ton of pain.
Yeah.
So we want to give a shout out
Prayers
to
for him,
my
man.
brother Russell.
The dancing UPS guy.
Yeah, if you know who the dancing UPS guy on TikTok is, that's my little brother.
Yep.
So anyway, let's jump into a couple of our sponsors.
Most definitely.
So I talked to Case Elegance this week. Dude, they the black Foot Locker,
Don't say it.
they sold out of
I
what
knew
they
it.
had
knew
right out the gate,
Yep.
and then the second batch just came in, and they have just under 100 left. And so if you haven't checked out Case Elegance, you can look down in the show notes on the regular show that comes out Monday. Go by, and you also get a blackout coin,
Yes,
which
sir.
has the Cigar Talk logo on one side. Flip it, and it's got their logo, and it's all blacked out. So go by and check them out, man. They make badass shit.
Everything.
I mean,
Larry
that-
just took his travel. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. No, he's right there.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, yeah. And then we have the Leaf. That's where we are today.
Yes.
We haven't sat in this area before, and it almost looks like we're in prison.
Because I saw them bricks behind. We on the bricks. We on
Doesn't
the
it
bricks.
look like we're in prison?
Yeah, we on the bricks, man. Calm down.
So anyway, and I got to show everybody my shirt. Friends don't let friends smoke Gurkha. So I had some people. I posted this shirt on Instagram.
We know.
And a couple of people
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, I smoke Gurkha. Why do you not want people to smoke Gurkha?"
If you don't know,
I said, "If you don't know, ask somebody, because I don't want to be the one tearing them down."
Yeah.
And then I said, "Or you can tune into this week's show where I'm going to tear them down. You pick. I'll make it easy."
let's tune into the show.
So here's the thing. Gurkha, first of all, I think they have like 22,000 different lines of
I
cigars.
said 22,000.
I mean, dude, they make if you saw all the cigars they made,
Yes, that's true.
how would you know which one's good? Are you going to smoke them all?
You spend the rest of your life smoking them all.
Right,
Because it's not 22,000, but it is a large
Dude,
catalog.
I mean,
it's a large catalog.
they make Rocky Patel look small. You know what I'm saying? But that to be said, and I talk to people who's like, well, they do have some good cigars. And I'm like, okay, hold up. How would I know which one that is? Because I've smoked a few back in the old days,
Yeah.
and I never had a good one. Like, I was so excited to smoke the Gurkha Ghost.
The Ghost, yeah.
And really the reason I was excited about it is because their packaging is all pretty. You know what I mean?
So it made
looks
it look good.
great.
Yeah.
And I smoked it. It sucked. I was
It's
not.
just a regular cigar.
It was a decent cigar, not a regular,
He said decent.
decent. And then I think, what was the other one? Some Horse Bay or something Bay. Harbor Bay.
No,
You
I
know
don't
what I'm
remember.
talking about. Anyway, they sucked, and I'm like,
As he said, if you
market-
listen to the show, he's
yeah,
gonna-
dude, Gurkha is all about marketing.
Oh, most definitely.
And then, of course, the owner, CEO, is a racist. Now, he can say he's not. He can say that somebody hacked into my computer and they sent out a message on my behalf.
Nah, bruh.
But,
Nah.
I don't trust them. I don't dig them. And,
It was the conversation during and afterwards, and then you come with this apology that really was a written down apology. It wasn't heartfelt, and that's what got me. I was like, man, forget this. I ain't never buying another one, because if you really meant it and somebody really hacked your account, you're going to be vehement about it, because you got a large catalog. They're about marketing,
Right.
so you don't want anything
and
to
let me
destroy
tell you
that.
something. If you were to get hacked,
Oh, come on now.
there's a way that you can show that you got hacked. You know what I mean?
Because people that get hacked, they do that.
There's evidence.
Yes. There
But-
was no
and
evidence shown.
and that's whatever. The dude's a douchebag. That's why you don't smoke Gurkha, because that dude's a douchebag. And if you do smoke Gurkha, have at it. I mean, I'm not saying
you.
that I'm going to come by and drive by if you're smoking Gurkha.
What you going to shoot at him?
My finger.
Yeah, he said, my pinger.
My finger. So, yeah, and
It's just,
I'm just, you know what? I smoke what I smoke.
you smoke what
You
you
smoke what
yeah,
you
that's
smoke.
right.
But if you want to be friends,
he said, don't let me smoke a Gurkha.
now, let's stop right there. Because it hadn't been that long ago that I gave you a cigar that didn't have a band on it. And you smoked it, and
I
you
did-
liked it.
And then you told me what it was, and I
And
was
you
angry.
quit smoking
Yep.
it.
I was angry. I'm true to my word about things. When I say
so am I.
when I say I don't like it, I don't care. You snuck it in on me. It wasn't a turd rocket. It was a good stick. And then when you told me what it was, I was like, damn, might as well have been.
Yeah, I mean, that, and I said, to justify,
it was free.
Well, you didn't pay for it.
Yep, it was free.
So there's that. And then let's talk about Tabonero. Dude, Tabonero, man.
Running like a track star.
Dude.
They running like a track star, like an Olympic track star.
The boutiques of the boutiques. The dedication and the focus on quality control is not like anybody else that I've seen in the industry. And I think, I mean, it's hard to say, but I mean, they're so small that they can focus on that. And I asked Yanko, the owner, I was like, how do you maintain that as you grow? And he said I just got to go down to Nicaragua more often and let them know this is how I want it.
But see, that's understanding and knowing your vision and making sure that your vision continues to grow. I know what I have. I know I'm putting out a quality product, so I'm going to continue putting out this quality product. It doesn't matter if I grow. I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure I'm continually giving the people what they love. Some people get to that point where they're making a lot of money, they're doing a lot of stuff, so they're like, okay, the money, it'll overtake what I may lose. Nah, bruh. When you take care of your people, they will take care of you. They will take care of you. And Tabonero puts out a quality stick, no matter which Vitola you get. I mean, it's great.
If you haven't had the sun grown,
come on,
or
now.
the Connecticut,
or the Connecticut, that Connecticut will change your world. It'll change your world.
Dude,
it will change your world, bro.
There was only 2 Connecticut's that made my top 25 of the year, and that was one of them. For a Connecticut to be ranked in my top 25 at like a 15, that's impressive.
It made that mark. It made that mark.
I do like some Connecticut's, but they're usually not in my top 25. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's talk about McCalliff.
What can we not say about McCalliff?
Well, I hope you filled out your bracket.
I haven't got a chance to yet.
Well, fill out your bracket. Yeah. It's coming. And you don't qualify to win anything, but anyway.
But I still love being a part of it.
And you like that competition.
I do, because I love winning.
I was talking to Brian Wilcoxon earlier today, and this morning he posted a picture of the same cigar I was smoking.
Wow.
And
deviant minds look alike.
You know what I had this morning
What?
For my second stick? The Leyenda. Dude, that's a good cigar.
That's on my pick 6.
That is it really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That is a phenomenal cigar.
It is no joke.
And
you know what? No joke. I gave you mine last Saturday after we won.
Thank you.
And I had another one. I said,
and just so you know, I smoked it.
I know. I watched you smoking in front of me. I watched you enjoy it in front of me. Because the thing, it wasn't that I gave it to him. People, let me give you that. He looked at me and said, "Which one of them cigars can I steal?" And I sat there and I looked. I was like, "Well, take this one." He said, "That was the one I was going to steal anyway," which was the Leyenda.
I was going to make it mine.
Yeah. Anyway, so
anyway,
he was just waiting on me to turn my head.
Look down in the show notes, and there will be a link to take you to the the McCalliff Madness, where you can win gift cards at your local shops. You can win cigars from Al McCalliff's personal trunk. I know it's a humidor, but can you imagine how big his? I mean,
that's why I say it's probably a safe.
Yeah. I would love to go hang out and just smoke at Al's house. Hint, hint, Al. Anyway, hey, we're going to take a quick little break, guys, and then we're going to come back, and when we come back, we're going to do our pick 6 for the week.
Yes, sir.
And we have Garrett coming up next, Kyle Garrett from Dad's Smoking Cigars.
Dad's Smoking Cigars.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Hey guys, we have a special guest with us today. I'm so excited about having Kyle Garrett with us. You know him from Dad's Smoking Cigars. He's been doing it for a long time. We've wanted to have him on the show for a long time. I don't know why we never have made it work, but hell, we're having him on tonight, and we almost didn't make it work tonight because of some family issues. But anyway, he's here. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Thanks for
Oh,
finally showing up.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to finally be on the show, and I'm glad that I actually have. I think it's like the timing works out pretty good because for the longest time I didn't have a studio, and it is a chilly, windy night here in Southern California, a rare chilly night, and it wouldn't have worked so well doing that. Doing the show outside.
Yeah, because I remember you. Was it? I don't really know, but I assumed you were like on your back patio.
That's where I started for a long time. Cause I mean, as for those who don't know, Dad Smoking Cigars I've been doing for almost, 4 years now, 4 years. This summer.
You started before I did.
Really? Yeah. I was not aware of that. Cause it's like, as you get into the community, you start discovering people and finding out more about people and stuff like that. But no, I started it with a buddy of mine who pretty well, Cigar Show Tim Long, and him and I, we'd been wanting to do something cigar related, and so we just launched an Instagram. And after a while,
I told you that I had a story for you, and this is a good segue for that because
good.
I was on my Instagram, and this is before I ever started my show. This goes way back, and I'm on my Instagram, and at the time, I follow a guy named like Mike the Mechanic.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? Who was Tim working with for a while?
No, you're talking about Brandon.
Brandon. Okay,
you're talking about Cigar Mechanic.
Yeah,
Brandon
Cigar
Wells.
Mechanic. So anyway,
yes,
I'm following him on Instagram, and he's doing a live feed, and I'm watching it, and I'm asking questions, saying hi, all this stuff, and anyway, he's talking to these two morons, and we're talking about retrohaling. And dude, so that was you, and
I was one of the morons.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was actually that was in my hometown, mine and Tim's hometown of Corona here in Southern California, and we had found out about Brandon through a couple other Instagram accounts, and he was coming to California in November of 2018, and he said, "Where's a lounge near you? I'll meet up. I'll be in the area." I mean, he was born in California, so he knows the way around. And we met up with him at this lounge called Burning Desire here in Corona. And we did a live stream on mine, on Dad Smoking Cigars. And so that was kind of when things really started to
that was
kick off.
Way back in the beginning, man.
Oh hell yeah, that was in the early days.
I was actually writing a blog about cigar shops back then. That's how I got into it. I hadn't thought of a podcast yet. I was just writing reviews on different cigar shops. I would go into a shop and interview the owner, and then, talk to some people in the lounge, and then I would give them like a rating on all these different categories. And after like a few shops, I was like, it would be better if I brought a podcast in here and interviewed the owner. And I mean, several months later, that's kind of what we dove into, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and all the episodes sucked, but we, got a little bit better each time, and now most people think we're doing a good job. I posted a review yesterday of a guy who said he listened to our show and left a review on Apple iTunes, and it said, 1 star, well, that's an hour of my life I'll never get back. I love those. That's why I posted it. I was like, hey, you know what? Everybody doesn't like you.
It's kind of refreshing at times, but when you're hitting a lull, you're like, okay, I could use a little bit more, positive interaction here. So tell me I'm doing okay, because nobody's talking.
Well, for me, I wish the guy that leaves that negative would leave me advice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of just say you suck, which, I've heard that all my life. I'm like, well, what would make it better for you?
Right.
But, because, you know how it is. Guys always tell you they love the show. You're doing a great job. But when the people who don't listen because they don't like what you do, you don't ever find out why. They just say, screw it.
Yeah. It's like, tell me why I suck. So tell me how I can not suck.
So how
and
many
all that.
episodes do you have now? Because you've been doing it a
Oh,
long
dear.
time.
Dear God.
You don't even know.
No, you kidding? I don't pay attention to that shit. But no, the YouTube channel launched in like April of 2019, and we did it at a Tim's garage, and we were doing an episode every week, whether it was a review or something like
Now,
that.
did Tim move?
Tim did move. Tim bought. They were living in a condo, and that's where we initially started doing the show.
Well, because he had made a pretty nice studio for you guys.
He did. He helped me build this one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he put together a nice setup, and it kept getting, Tim, it's always like advance, improve. And, yeah, it was a good setup, and it worked out really well. I mean, you can't tell, but when we interviewed Luis Cuevas, back in early 2020, before everything went to shit, we were at the little bar that Tim built and all that stuff. What you don't see is there's all these Harbor Freight blankets surrounding us, acting as sound dampeners.
I actually did see those. I actually saw like a little tour one time, and it was like, but those work great. They're good sound dampening. So, I mean, if people want to do this, whether it be about cigars or cars or women,
whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't recommend men doing a show about women. That's probably a bad idea. But so you've been doing it 4 years now. I mean, what made you decide you wanted to do a cigar show?
Just a growing passion for cigars, which I think that's where it should start. Love of cigars and a growing appreciation for them. I smoke cigars because of my dad, hence why, and being a dad, I just like, when I was thinking of what to call it, I was just like, dad smoking cigars. That's just perfect, because my dad got me into them. I'm a dad, all that good stuff. So it just made sense, and it's very relatable. But I was seeing more stuff pop up on like YouTube and things like that. And, in the earlier days when there wasn't a whole ton of cigar YouTubers or bloggers, it was like in the early days where it was just like Tim Swanson and Brad Reith and all that stuff. And a couple other people, Bob the Cigar Guy and all that stuff. But, it was just a growing passion and love for cigars. And I was just like, what? I want to do something like this. I was smoking them much more frequently starting in like 2018. I've technically been smoking since I was 19. I'm 37 now. Do the math.
Dang.
And, but I've only been smoking frequently since about that year. And that was a crazy year, because it was a year of loss and a year of new, wonderful stuff. It was a roller coaster, and cigars were kind of how I coped.
Oh, I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah.
So you said in 2018, I want to touch on that. Like you said, loss. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah. And what I got to kind of give you the backdrop, because beginning of 2018, and as of this month, we'll have been living in the house that we bought at that time for 4 years. So we had just bought our first house. We closed on the house like the day after New Year's 2018. Our very first house. My wife was pregnant with our second son, and he was coming at the end of July. And so everything was coming up roses, man. And it was just wonderful and beautiful, and everything was exciting and happy. And then smack in the middle of February 16th, we found out that my wife's nephew, my nephew as well, my in-law's grandson, had passed away in a car accident.
Oh, man.
And it was a solo crash out in Long Beach. He went to see a midnight showing of Black Panther with some friends. He was leaving the city. He didn't even make it onto the freeway. And we still don't know what happened or why he crashed or what caused it.
And how old was he?
All we know is 21.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, no, he was such a great kid. And I know everybody says that about family or friends that pass, they always highlight the good. This kid was just the greatest. I mean, such a generous and kind young man, and he was going places, and that was the hard part about it. And then 11 days later, my son was born. Wow. So this roller coaster of just the first 2 months was just insane. good and bad. And so, yeah,
So
cigars were helpful.
2 questions.
Sure.
I have to believe that when you signed the closing papers for your house, you had a special cigar.
Well, I honestly can't remember if I did or not. I do know that, like, not long after my son was born, I had a cigar. I couldn't tell you.
Well, that was the second question. Don't ruin that one too.
Well, I'm getting ahead of you. But the house, I don't remember specifically picking or choosing, because you got to understand, at the time, I only had like maybe a handful of cigars to my name, if that.
Yeah.
I had a small tabletop humidor. I don't have the abundance that I have now, which I'm very fortunate and grateful to have. But at the time, getting cigars was kind of piecemeal, because, my wife then and now, even though she supports what I do, she wasn't crazy about me smoking more frequently. She likes, "You're smoking again," and it'd be like the second time that week. And it's just like, compared to now, it's just like, yeah, I am, because I want to have one right now. So
right.
And it was always on the back patio, but no, there was not that I can recall having a special cigar after the close of the house. I probably had a drink,
of course,
for sure. And then after my son was born, I think I had a cigar with my dad a little while after that.
Nice. Now, is your dad still living?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
very much
nice.
so. He is 60 years old and healthy as a horse. And
wow,
he's
young.
Still incredibly good looking. And
what happened to you?
Well, I look just like him. So
whatever works for you, brother.
No, he's awesome. He's been working in insurance for the last 40 years. He works for a big company called Hub out
now.
In
Has he worked for the same company for 40 years? Okay.
No, he's just been in the industry for 40 years.
Gotcha.
Started with State Farm and then worked his way into a couple other, brokerage firms. He started his own brokerage firm in the mid 90s, had it for about 10 years. And then he merged with the company, and then another company, bought that. He worked for this company out of Salt Lake for probably close to about 10 years. And then, he worked out in Irvine, and now he's out here in Riverside, which isn't far from where I live, because for a while he was out in Orange County. And
now, what part of California you live in? I don't know exactly.
Where
you are.
I live about 2 hours north of San Diego.
Oh, okay.
And I would say about 45 minutes to an hour northeast of Los Angeles. And I'm probably wrong about that direction, so don't quote me, because I am directionally challenged. Without a good GPS, I'm screwed.
I'm from Texas. You could tell me whatever direction. I'm not going to verify it. I'm geological challenged. I'm also speech impediment guy. In fact, I don't know if you ever heard, but they say that I speak Lubbockian.
What does that mean?
I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, and
apparently
I speak Lubbockian. But anyway, so you've been doing the show now for 4 years. That's incredible, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, it's kind of crazy, just because it really started as a brand, and then it kind of went from there. Tim and I did it together for about a year and a half, and then with the pandemic and everything, just fucking up the works and making it really hard to stay connected. I mean, we would do the shows remote, and we would just do it together, but just the way things were going, we felt like there was kind of a fork in the road. We talked, and he's saying, I've been kind of thinking about doing my own thing. And I'm like, that's cool.
You're like, good riddance. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's exactly what went down. No, it was one of those things where, like, I had this feeling, and come to find out he had the same one, which was fortunate, because I'm thinking, you know what, he's doing this thing on the side, and we're still doing the show on Fridays, but at the same time, I'm just like, I feel like that, he might as well just do his thing, and I might as well do mine. But I didn't know how to bring it up.
Right.
And then I remember we were having a conversation on the phone about a couple of things. He says, honestly, I'm not sure, about my future with Dad smoking cigars. I said, well, funny you mention it. And then
I was thinking to get rid of you already.
Thankfully
it was mutual. It was mutual.
It was mutual. It wasn't something I had to worry about or stress about.
Yeah, because you're still friends, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't
seen
see
y'all.
each,
I
we
seen
don't
y'all
see.
do something not too long ago on YouTube together.
What was it? Wasn't on YouTube. We hung out
Maybe it was on
like New Year's Eve.
Instagram. I just saw y'all
Yeah, it
together.
was on Instagram. We were hanging out New Year's Eve just for a couple hours, middle of the day, and went over there, hung out, smoked a couple cigars, and yeah, we see each other periodically. Our lives are so insane, it's hard to have any overlap.
Now, how did you guys meet?
Oh, we've known each other for too long. We've known each other too long.
All right.
But no, I've known him since I was 18.
Wow.
So we've known each other. Yeah, but this year it'll be 20 years. We've known each other for a long time.
My best friend is going with me to TPE as my assistant because Bryant, my co-host, will not get on a plane. He's like John Madden. He will not get on a plane. So he's not going. Yeah, God rest John Madden, the greatest of all times on being a broadcaster for NFL. I mean, nobody could replace that guy. When him and Pat Summerall quit, it was like, now we're going to put up with, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. And and now, Tony Romo is the, whatever. But anyway, nobody could ever replace Madden. That's not ever going to happen. No. And if you weren't alive during that time watching John Madden, you really missed out.
Oh yeah, my dad's a sports fan. It never really took with me, but I would still be so entertained by him just watching him.
Oh yeah, like the running back goes over here and boom, I mean, it was like.
And that's great football. That's great football.
Very nice, man. I'm impressed. So, tell me about what you do besides Dad smoking cigars. What do you do for a living, man? You're a working dude like me.
Well, I work part-time, just right now because I am mostly a stay-at-home dad. I have been pretty much since my oldest was born. My wife's got a great job. She actually works for my dad in insurance. Wow. She works for the same company. She works under him, and she's really good at her job and stuff like that. So, when our oldest was born, I chose to go to work part-time. I was working full-time up until then, doing pool maintenance and all that stuff. I did that for 11 years. And then once our youngest was born and we were fully out here, because my oldest went to a preschool out near where I worked in the town where I was born. It's a town called Upland here in Southern California. And once he was done there, it was just strictly here. So trying to drive 45 minutes to an hour out to my job just didn't make sense. So I needed to find a job close to home. And for the last 3.5 years, I've been working for Home Depot. So,
what do you do at Home Depot?
I work in garden.
Like someone asked, hey, where's the mulch? It's over on 37A.
Oh yeah, I'm not even that specific. I'm like, go outside. It's the very back row in the corner. So, but no, I've been working for Home Depot for 4 years. About this July, basically, I've been working for Home Depot as long as I've been doing Dad smoking cigars.
Wow! So
it literally happened around the same time.
So, what does it feel like working? All right, I've been drinking Knob Creek 12-year-old, and let me tell you what, it's fantastic. If you haven't had it, you got to try it.
I will definitely try it soon. I'm drinking Aberfeldy 12-year.
Is that a scotch?
It is a scotch.
I don't really drink much scotch. I'm a diehard bourbon guy, but if I'm gonna drink scotch, it's gonna be Springbank. Have you had that one?
I haven't.
Springbank is the only scotch still made the old school way. No computers, no automation. It's all still done the old way.
All right.
And it's not smoky and it's not peaty, so I can enjoy it.
Which I'm good with, because I like kind of more of like a lighter scotch. I don't, when it's peaty and it's smoky, it's just a little too heavy on the palate for me.
Oh, dude, if that's how you are, you would love the Springbank. And just the 10-year. The 10-year is phenomenal. It's about $62 to $65 a bottle.
Not too bad.
And that's, I think that's a good price for something that I don't want to pay $90 for.
Well, yeah, that's kind of on the higher end of affordable. Yeah, so you're paying $50 to $60 for a bottle of whiskey isn't that bad. But no, I drink scotch periodically. Like you, I'm mostly a bourbon fan. Okay. It's just something I enjoy more often than not. I try to find different bourbons and bourbons I've never heard of. And you talk about having a peaty and smoky flavor. I went to my dad's and we did a whiskey tasting, like a Zoom whiskey tasting, which is the weirdest thing ever. And he had these 3 small bottles of whiskey, and one of them was like a peat bourbon.
A peat bourbon?
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I don't know who the hell thought of that, but it tasted like friggin' sewage. That stuff was nasty.
I can't imagine. I mean, because bourbon is automatically going to be sweeter on most palates than scotch. And a friend of mine brought in a bottle of 15-year, I think it was Glenlivet.
Yeah.
I could be mispronouncing the name.
Glenlivet, yeah, you got it.
And I already had a bottle of George or Dickel, a bottle and bond. And he poured me a glass, and I took a drink, and I was like, no way, I don't like this at all. In fact, I just shot it so I could get back to my bourbon because, the bourbon it's just so much more enjoyable for me because it's a little sweeter. It's got a little heat to it. And I don't know about you, but I really like bourbons that are like right around the 100 proof level.
Because, so do I.
Yeah. And that's what, dude, this Knob Creek 12 is 100 proof. And that's also one of the reasons that I love most bottle and bonds. I found very rarely that I drink a bottle and bond that I don't like.
Yeah, no, I my whiskey collection is pathetically low. So I need to get back out there.
This is my collection.
This is like the most like regular kind of whiskey that I have. Like pretty much all my bourbons are gone. And the only other whiskey that I have as a full bottle was a gift from my sister-in-law. It's Old Smoky.
How is that? I've never had it. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say peanut butter?
It does say peanut butter, which I'll admit, even though I was very grateful to my sister-in-law, it was very sweet that she bought me a bottle of whiskey for Christmas.
Yes.
When I saw peanut butter on there, I was just like, all right. It was like, I've done peanut butter whiskey before. It's nice to have every now and then. And it's just like, yeah, but I had it the other night and it was just,
let me tell you, for Christmas, and I hope my family is not watching this show. During our Christmas get together, my brother-in-law is going to have surgery and he can no longer smoke. Like not like for a week or two, he can no longer smoke.
That sucks.
Yeah. And he brought me a giant bag full of cigars, and 90% of them were Gurkhas.
I saw your shirt. It says, friends don't let friends smoke Gurkha. Oh, man. That's...
So, you know what's hilarious about that is I put the bag in the humidor, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to smoke them because I'm not a fan. But my co-host, Bryant, who is also not a fan, I took the band off and gave him one, and he smoked it.
Oh, and what did he say?
He was like, oh, man, this is nice. This is nice. And I was like, because I told him it was something else. I told him it was some AJ Fernandez, whatever. And
oh, you asshole.
Yeah. And about halfway in, I told him it was a Gurkha, and he was like, you motherfucker. So,
oh man,
that's what I decided to do. I'm going to pull all the bands off of them and I'm going to give them to, because I don't know how it is when you do your show, but when we do our show, we usually have people in the studio just watching. And so let me tell you that if you come to the studio when we're doing a show, it is the best, funnest party you have ever been to. Now,
oh man,
I've had comments from caring people that comment,
with the effects of, "Hey, Rob, I think you're drinking too much during the show." And I'm like, "Hey,
that's the point.
I'm well aware."
Don't tell me what I already know. I'm aware. Yeah, man, that's the point.
But when you come to the studio to watch the show, we have all the bourbon you want to drink, and we have all the free cigars you want to smoke. It's a great time.
Well, I will have to make a trip to Texas one of these
Dude,
days.
we would love for you to come, man.
I got so many friends in Texas, like it's ridiculous. I have friends close to like Houston, Dallas, and then even some of the lesser known cities and stuff like that. I got tons of people that I know there. I have tons of excuses to go.
We're in one of the lesser known towns called Abilene, but if you
I've heard of Abilene.
Well, that's only because there was a song called Abilene. But no, we're only about 2.5 hours from DFW. So, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah. So if you ever get out this way, let me know, man. We'd love to do a show with you. Have you come on live.
Absolutely. But to answer your earlier question, what do I do besides this? I work, Home Depot, which is interesting. I have stories that I could probably tell, but I'm going to save those for another time. But the main thing that I do, which I'm really trying to get the ball rolling on, and I've been making, a small amount of progress, I do voice work. Immediately to my right is my recording studio.
Do you have like a booth where you go in there and it's like super quiet? How's that work?
Well, it's a little messy, so I'm going to turn my webcam just a little bit so you can see.
Oh, very cool, man.
That's
cool.
my little area right there.
That's cool.
Hopefully I don't screw with.
Now, where are you at right now? I mean, are you in the house? Are you in the garage?
No, I'm in the garage.
Okay.
I'm in the garage. I'm in a little like 7x10 structure that we built on one side.
Your wife's car is in the garage and your car's in the driveway.
That's how it started. Right now, there is no room for her car in the garage because we're setting, not because of this, but we're getting ready to update a bunch of stuff in our house, and so some of the materials are taking up room in the garage that we bought.
Gotcha. I was like, if your studio is impeding on her car, you're not doing good, bro.
No, for the first 6 months or so. Well, even longer than that, she was able to park her car in here just fine. And that was kind of like the deal. She's like, as long as I can park my car in the garage and get out, she's like, you can have your studio. I'm like, I'm sold. That's fine. And so we made it.
But what she didn't calculate was how much room the garage would need to hold stuff when y'all updated the house. If she,
but that wasn't part of the plan because we had no plans to update anything until we found out we had 2 slab leaks. So there you go. But no, I've actually gotten 1 paid gig in voice work. My brother actually works for Quiet Cool Whole House Fans, which I don't know if that's a thing out in Texas. Whole house fans are basically they're energy saving fans that you have up in your attic, and they can cool the entire house at half the energy and half the price of an air conditioning unit.
Well, that's because you're in California where the weather is like paradise. In Texas,
yeah,
that doesn't
it's
fly.
Balls hot.
Yeah.
It's balls hot.
I mean, when it's 107.
That's the hottest it's ever gotten here where we live. I think the hottest it's ever gotten was about 107.
Yeah, we
and that doesn't happen often.
Yeah, we've been in the 110, 112 in like July and August.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that would work, but
I did a voiceover for one of their promo videos for a couple different fans that they offer and stuff, and I got paid a decent amount for just 2 minutes of me talking.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. So, I do a podcast every week, and I'm not trying to brag, but some people have said that I have a great voice for radio or whatever it is that we do, but I could never do voiceovers.
You definitely have a face for radio. Right?
Yeah. Thank you. You know what? And that's why our YouTube numbers are not where we want to be.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's an issue I'm having right now because my YouTube. I mean, I got a decent amount of people subscribed, but it's kind of plateaued. It hasn't gone up. It's about 715 right now and hasn't moved for months. So it's trying to figure out how to get more people to, you know, check out the channel and stuff like that.
I think I got an idea for you.
Okay, sure.
If you want to really soar your numbers up, you got to bring in a hot naked chick. That works every time. You can look at Instagram all day long, and I promise you that's what's going on in the cigar industry. You know, when I was on Paula's show,
I don't know about that.
When I was on Paula's show, I said, can we find another girl to get half naked and pose with a cigar? You know? and she acted like she was kind of offended, but I was like, you know what? I love what you do, but do we need 50,000 of them? You know, come on.
Yeah, but no, she's great, and her lounge is definitely taken off.
Oh,
and,
dude,
it's a great place to hang. You got to come out here and hang out there. For sure.
I want to I mean, for one, hanging out with Paula at the lounge would be amazing, but it's such a cool place. You have an old school barber in the front, and then you have like a speakeasy lounge in the back.
Well, you don't have to tell me I've been there.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah, no, it was great. The first night was incredible, and you know, I've been there one time since, and it's just such a chill vibe. And you know, it's definitely all her. The entire place is her, and that's what makes it so great. So
yeah, I'm excited about what she's going to do there. I really am.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think TPE is going to be a nice networking weekend for her. She's going to get to, you know, do some amazing stuff. So I'm excited for her. And I wish I could be there, but I cannot.
Man, I wish you were going to be there too. I was really hoping. I sent you a message. I'm like 6 weeks ago. I was like, hey, man, are you going to be at TPE? Because I've been wanting to get you on the show. And then when you said no, I was like, well, then we can do it Zoom. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad we can do this and stuff like that. And definitely next year, I'm hoping just PCA, just for the sake of going to PCA this year, because again, I know so many people who are going. I want to go check it out.
And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about for me anyway.
Yeah, that's the networking. It's the people. It's building those relationships, seeing people that, you know, whether you've met them in person or you've just been friends on social media for however the hell long. It's nice to be able to connect with all those people and stuff like that, and get to, you know, do all that fun stuff, you know, whether you're talking about cigars or you're getting drunk at the bar, you know,
or both at the same time,
or both at the same time. Exactly. So,
and you know, what I have been told by someone that will remain anonymous, which I don't know how much you ever see what I do, but I am a t-shirt, shorts, flip-flops kind of guy.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, so I was told when I go to TPE, I'm going to have to kick it up 2 notches. Not one notch,
class it up, man.
But 2 notches. So
class it up, Rob.
I got a sport coat I'm going to wear, and I'm going to wear jeans, and I'm going to wear some nice dress shoes. But you know what? My wife is already like, oh, you got to go buy some nice collared shirts and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm kind of leaning towards wearing T-shirts under my sport coat, because that's just me.
Miami Vice it, man.
Right.
Get yourself a nice pair of loafers.
I mean, I'm not wearing flip-flops. I'm wearing nice dress shoes that go with jeans, and so I'm like, I don't know if I can do the button up.
Yeah, that's something I'll have to think about, because I mean, when I'm at home, I don't give a crap how I look. I'm just like, and I'm taking care of kids.
Dude, I went to my home lounge yesterday and went back and hung out for like 6 hours, and I was wearing pajama pants, my house slippers, and a t-shirt.
You're describing what I wear when I drop off my oldest at school.
I did that, except I went to the cigar lounge, and all these old guys are like, are you wearing pajamas? And I'm like, I am. it's 28 degrees outside. I don't and I don't know if you know, but our producer / camera operator for the studio is his name is Larry.
Okay.
He's a black man that's 6'7".
Oh shit.
His nickname is BDL, and that stands for Big Dick Larry.
I somehow saw that coming.
Yeah. And he walked in yesterday and he was like, I know those are pajamas, but I have never seen you wear pants before. So that tells you that I'm not a pants guy.
Yeah, I obviously when it's warmer, when it gets cooler, I'm just like on with the pants. I don't mess with shorts or anything unless the heater's on full in the house and I don't feel like putting on jeans or whatever.
Well, if we're in the high 30s, I'm good with shorts. But
see, you're a braver, stronger man than I am.
I'm good with flip-flops. I'm good with flip-flops if we're in the high 30s. But once you get into the 20s, I gotta wear my pajama pants. And they're flannel. They actually look just like your shirt, but they're flannel pants.
All right. Yeah, no, I got plenty of pairs of those, but I'm just to give you context at how well I do cold, because again, Southern California, it's warm all year round. The lowest I think it gets like at night, let's just say at night, I think it gets to like in the 40s, maybe. And we went to New York, my wife and I, and on the last day we were there, it was like 27 degrees. But even before that, it was like in the mid 30s. I'm wearing a freaking,
Are you wearing a scarf?
Yes, I was wearing a scarf. Soon.
I knew it.
But everybody in New York wears a scarf, so
sure.
We looked like we fit in a little bit. But no, I'm wearing like this fleece line hoodie. I'm wearing a pea coat over that. I'm wearing my scarf. If I was wearing a hat because like I'd cut my hair super short, so my head was freezing, so I'd have like this fleece line beanie and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't like freezing my ass off, but at the same time,
you were dressed for it though. Yeah,
I was bundled up for it.
Yeah.
So.
Now, if I went to New York, I would have to make a change. But in Texas, I mean, even in the dead of winter, our normal weather is like 45 to 65. And so that's shorts weather all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't bust out the shorts until it hits like the high 70s, low 80s. So hey, that's usually how it works for me.
Change gears here. How many kids you got?
I got two boys.
2 boys. How old are they?
My oldest is 8. He'll be 9 this July. And my youngest, he's about to turn 4 here in February.
All right.
So
is there going to be any more, or is that it?
Oh, no, I'm done.
Okay, gotcha. Ice pack on the balls.
I took care of that over a year ago because I told my wife, I said, if you told me you were pregnant tomorrow, I'd have a nervous breakdown. Because I'm with them every day, all day. They drive me up the fucking wall. I love them to death, would do anything for them, but they drive me absolutely insane.
I want to tell you something that maybe you're not aware of.
Okay.
And maybe you're delusional like I was.
Yeah.
But when they turn 18, you still are responsible for them.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, I know.
I thought as soon as they hit 18, I'm done. Get the fuck out.
Well, I guess the catch for that would be hopefully praying, knock on wood, I'll be making a decent amount of money by that time. So being responsible for them won't be, as taxing as it sounds.
It doesn't matter if it's taxing. It's just a pain in the ass.
Oh, well, that's just kids in general.
Yes.
You love them, but they still end up being a pain in the ass.
I'm like,
but then again, they think you're a pain in the ass too. So it's a door that swings both ways.
They think we're just the dumbest people on the earth.
Which sometimes we are, but we just hide it.
Well, we just take another drink.
Right. Exactly. So no, but no, they're I have awesome kids. They're wonderful. They're smart. They're hilarious. They're hours of entertainment.
And do they go to school?
Yeah, my oldest is he's going to be, obviously this year he's wrapping up third grade. My youngest just started preschool back in August. So he loves it. He wasn't as eager to, go into the school building without mom and dad as his big brother was, because like my oldest,
he's the baby.
He is the baby. And my oldest, he spent time with other kids, like Tim's kids, he spent a lot of time with. And so he had already acclimated to spending time with kids his age. And so when we walked him onto that preschool campus, he's just like, okay, bye, Dad. I was like, bye.
Yeah, you're like, sweet, I'm done.
Yep. So he took to it like a fish to water. And, my youngest, he loves it. He talks about it. He'll come home and talk about it. But when I'm dropping him off, he kind of looks over his shoulder. He's like, you're leaving me again? It's like, yeah, kid, I'm leaving you. I got stuff to do.
Now, how long does your youngest one stay in school? Is he there all day?
He is there all day except Wednesdays. And I, personally speaking, and I think it's the dumbest thing. I don't know why they do it. I don't remember doing it when I was a kid. They have early out day on Wednesday, which means we pick them up an hour earlier, which I'm sorry. That is just annoying as hell.
That is annoying as hell.
Because it's like I have an hour less than what I would normally have, like, say, on Monday. Because Monday, Wednesday, Friday, both boys are in school. And Monday and Wednesdays are the key days for me where I can get stuff done, whether it's stuff here in the studio, stuff in the house. My wife can work in peace. She doesn't have to worry about hearing kids screaming downstairs. I'm on a call. Keep them quiet. It's like there's no one here, But
now is your wife working from home?
She is, but the only reason why she's still working from home is because, like, every time they start talking about bringing everybody back to the office, somebody catches COVID.
I don't know why they would ever bring anybody back. I mean, if I'm a business and I've got 30 employees that I can just keep at home and I don't have to pay for a freaking office, I don't have to pay for the electricity, I'm like, hey, you know what? This is a blessing in disguise. I didn't know. And I actually know people that were like, after they were home working for 6 months, they called up the company and was like, yeah, I'm either going to work from home or I'm not coming back. And they were like, yeah, that's cool. Keep working at home.
I honestly would love it if she went back to the office.
Well, yeah. Well, of course.
Just because, like, we spend so much time together as it is. Like, prior to the pandemic, it was a nice balance. She would go to work. I wouldn't see her all day when she came home. Glad you're home.
Hey,
and it's just
what do they say? The missing someone makes the heart grow fonder, or some bullshit.
Absence make the heart grow fonder.
Exactly.
Yep. This is like, yeah, it's like one of those things too, because you forget they're working while they're home, and so you're like, you can't expect them to step in and help you with whatever crap you're dealing with the kids. So it's just like, well, I'm on my own, which I would have been anyway if she's in the office. So it's just one of those things you just have to operate under the usual thing. So,
all right. So what do you got planned for Dad Smoking Cigars over the next 12 months? I mean, I know you're like one of those, planners. You're a planner.
Who told you that?
Well, I know you're not planner like me. I don't plan shit.
I have goals. I have things that I want to see happen. First and foremost is just seeing the YouTube channel grow. Because I love creating content. And I'll admit, sometimes the setup and everything like that can be boring. I'm trying to figure out ways to kind of liven up the content, trying to make it a little more interesting, not put out the same shit every week. I try to make sure like I'm not always doing reviews. I try to kind of throw in a random video about, something or the other related to cigars or
now.
whatnot.
See, that's something that you do different than what we do. You actually do cigar reviews.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that.
No, I know. When I've listened to the podcast and you guys, you're just having conversation and you touch on what cigars you're smoking.
We talk about what our favorite cigars were the last 7 days that we smoked.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we might throw in some news here and there, but most of it is like, if you were sitting in a lounge this is what we're talking about.
Right.
We want you to feel like you're in our lounge. But you actually have like a palate delicate enough to do cigar reviews. You know, my cigar review level is I like it or I don't.
Yeah. You know, it's just interesting because I think back to when I was first doing this, and I didn't have a palate at all. I didn't have a palate to be able to kind of suss out stuff in cigars and, you know, what I was tasting. I just smoked because I liked smoking. And, you know, I didn't have too many favorites other than like the typical ones you'd hear people talk about. It's like, oh, I like Cohibas. And yeah, at the time, much to my shame, I liked Gurkhas. I would smoke them. But again, I had no palate. I had no palate. I had no, you know, nothing that you could call like a discerning taste when it came to cigars. And there's that shirt. There's that shirt. There it is. There it is.
Hey, but, you know what? I got my heater going on in the studio. It's getting freaking hot. I had a fleece on. I had to take it off.
No, for sure. I contemplated putting the heater on, but like I was in my house and I'm wearing flannel t-shirt underneath and all that stuff, jeans and boots. I'm still wearing the clothes I wore to work. And I was like getting a bunch of crap done before the boys went down, stuff that like my wife just said, could you please do these couple things before I get home? I'm like, well, these better get done. Otherwise I'm in deep shit. And then I'm sweating. So when I came out here, it was a nice change of temperature and climate and stuff. But no, what I was saying is like, I didn't have any discerning taste with cigars. I didn't know how to pick up flavors or anything like that. I just smoked stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't until I started trying like boutique cigars, like
which are the best.
They are the best.
I mean, dude,
I don't know where I was, man.
Boutiques are just like, you know what? You find the guys that care about the cigars. Mm-hmm. If you're smoking, and don't get me wrong, there's some big name cigars that have been around since my grandfather was alive that they're still making great cigars. Like, I'm a fan of Partagas. I think Partagas makes good cigars, but they're no longer Partagas. They're, you know, General Cigar. And I'm not a fan of most cigars that General Cigar puts out, because when you grow to that size, you no longer have the ability to do quality control.
Exactly.
How pissed off are you when you buy a $12 cigar that's plugged? Well, you in California, you're buying a $15, $16, $17 cigar that's plugged.
Yeah, no, even worse than that, I remember one of the most heartbreaking moments smoking a cigar was my in-laws. They went to Cuba and they brought me back 4 cigars, you know, and I remember telling them, I said, okay, because they said, do you want us to pick up some cigars? I said, that'd be great. I said, just make sure you actually go into a shop. Don't get them from the peddlers.
Right.
Don't get them off the street. Right. Go into a shop. Go into a shop if you want to buy me. And I, you know, buy any of the larger, you know,
because your first response is don't worry about it.
Yeah. So they picked me up 4, and I remember, like, oddly enough, because I don't really smoke these anymore, that was the last good Cohiba I had that they brought me home.
You know, I've never had a good Cohiba.
That was the last time. Actually, scratch that. That and the Bahique. Those are the last 2 good cigars made by Cohiba I ever had.
An 8-year-old Bahique, whatever the hell you said. Didn't care for it, man. I had was good. A friend of mine from Atlanta, Georgia, who has more money than sense, sent me a 4-pack of cigars out of his humidor. One of them was the Padron Millennium, which was a 20-year-old cigar at the time.
Holy shit.
And my expectations were very low because I was like, all right, it's a 20-year-old cigar. Dude, that cigar was amazing. I mean,
can imagine.
Dude, it was like amazing. In fact, I wish he would send me another one.
What are the odds of that?
Hey,
but anyway,
he had boxes of them.
Right. But so anyway, and I had like an Epicure, a Cohiba, which was actually very good, and I can't remember the other one, but the one that I'm thinking about, it was a Monte Cristo Open Master. Now, honestly, I haven't had the greatest of experiences with Monte Cristo. It's strange.
I dog Monte Cristo all the time.
Okay, so you understand, but I cut the cigar, I lit it up, and I swear to you, it was like trying to suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Yeah,
it was that, and I stabbed the shit out of that thing. I got a toothpick, I tunneled the hell out of it, I squeezed it, I tried to like make it give a little bit more. It was wrapped so tight and packed so tight,
and you could feel it was hard.
Yes, exactly. I was playing a little too much with it.
Well, yeah, but how awesome is it when you fill a cigar that's that hard but smokes perfectly?
Oh, I love that.
It's like
that's one of the coolest things. That is
somebody who knows how to roll a cigar.
That is art
right
there. To have a cigar that is so solidly constructed, like you barely squeeze it and has next to no give, but it has the smoothest draw
perfect
ever had.
Yes.
Exactly. This was not that cigar. I could barely get a wisp of smoke out of the damn thing. I tried for 15 minutes. I had one of the worst headaches ever.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, I don't do that. I will not. If I do not get a good draw within the first 5 puffs, I throw it away, man. I put it in the ashtray. I let it go, and I light up another one because my time is more valuable than that.
I was just I felt so bad, even though I didn't pay for the cigar. It was a gift. So it's like I could have been a little bit more cavalier about it and just like, yeah, screw it. I didn't pay for it. But
yeah,
it was like they brought it all the way from Cuba for me. And I'm just like, God damn it. I was just like, I wanted to try and get what I could out of it. And I didn't even make it.
Wanted it to be good.
I wanted it to be good. And there was no good to be had out of that damn thing. And I was just like, well, this is a first. And I just dropped the thing in the ashtray and I lit up a Padilla, and that was way better than that.
Well, I just put out, I just finished a McCalliff Medallia. Have you ever had it?
I've only had one McCalliff, and it was the Nicaraguan. And that was excellent.
Okay. Well, first of all, we'll just let it be known that McCalliff is a long-term sponsor of our show.
Yes.
We love what they do. But I am more on the Gomez Sanchez line of McCalliff. So what you smoked was the Grande Bold, the Bold line.
Yes. Yes.
And those are really good cigars. But if you have the opportunity to smoke the core line of the Gomez and Sanchez line, dude, you're talking about night and day on how good they are.
All right. Well, I'll have to get on that because McCalliff is a brand that I want to explore a lot.
You know what? After this show is over, you send me your address and I'll send you a couple of medallias, just because that's one of my go-to cigars. I can't even imagine how many boxes of medallias I've smoked. I mean, I'm talking like
that's me with Cuevas.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna guess that it's in the neighborhood of about 30 boxes.
Holy shit!
And
I haven't gotten there with Cuevas yet.
Well, in 30 boxes of medallias, because I smoke a box a month of medallias.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you right now, out of 30 boxes, I've had 2 cigars that the draw wasn't perfect.
Wow.
And one of the things I love about the Gomez Sanchez line is every cigar is put on a test draw machine. So they don't sell bullshit plug cigars. And I, in 30 boxes, if you get 2, that means the person that was doing the draw machine, he was smoking and was like talking while he was doing it,
Yeah.
But, for me, I don't have the most sensitive palate like you do. That's why I don't do cigar reviews. But I know what I like. I know certain profiles that I recognize. Like, when you get a nice, rich, earthy soil profile, I get that. When you get a leather profile, I get that. When you get some spiciness, I get that. But it's almost like, because I don't have the most delicate palate like you do, it's almost more important to me that the construction is perfect. Because if I can't smoke a cigar without fucking with it, then I don't want to smoke it.
Right. You get babysitting and doing all that kind of crap with a cigar. It's just, it messes with the experience.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sit here and go, oh, this is perfect. I want to smoke a cigar and have a conversation with the guy sitting next to me. But if I'm fucking with my cigar, I'm not wanting to talk to a guy. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like, leave me alone. I'm working on this right now, which is not how it should be, because it's just like, I've had cigars where I've had to babysit the hell out of it. If you leave it alone for more than a minute, it goes out.
Right.
Or whatever the issue is.
Now, are you a Lancero guy?
I'm good smoking Lanceros whenever I get the chance.
See, I smoke. I've got probably 4 or 5 left, but I bought a 10-pack of the Caldwell Long Live the King Lanceros.
Okay.
And I tell you what, the first time I smoked, because I'm not a Lancero guy, but the first time I smoked it, it was phenomenal. I mean, lights out. And then the second time I smoked it, it was like, you know what I don't like about Lanceros is that you can't smoke it too fast.
No.
Or it'll fucking run. And if you smoke it too slow, it'll go out.
Yep.
So you know what? Lanceros are not for me, because I just want to smoke a cigar how I smoke a cigar. I don't want to have to think about it.
Right. No, the only time that I think that I really smoked like a Lancero or Lonsdale type of Vitola was
now,
like
I love a Lonsdale. When you get up to the 42 ring gauge, I'm good. But that 38 to 40, man, it's you got to be careful.
Yeah, the last kind of skinny cigar I smoked was actually this week's cigar review. I had a Martinez Flatiron number 9, which is it's a Lonsdale, but it's also a box press.
And I do love the Flatiron. That's my favorite cigar that they make.
Yep, and it was cool because like Paula and Tim were both telling me, you got to try this, you got to get this when you're there. And so I got like pretty much everything they suggested, and Dave and Jesus are great guys. And I bought like 4 of their cigars that they recommended, and then they threw in 2 for me. Because
you're so good looking.
I think it had more to do with the fact that I stopped by once and neither of them were there.
Oh.
And so I had to come back the next day, which I wasn't sure was going to happen. And it worked out, and I got to see both of them.
How cool was it to go there? Did you smoke while you were there?
I unfortunately didn't have a chance to smoke while I was there, because I was only able to stop in for like about 20 minutes. And
was there dudes playing dominoes?
There were no dominoes being played yet.
Okay.
They had just finished up the rolling for the day.
So you went there early.
I went there early. I was like around between 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so it's after that.
I got to tell you something. I need you to tell everybody, because I got to go to my humidor and grab another cigar. While I'm gone, tell everybody where they can find Cigar Talk.
Shameless self-promotion, Rob.
Tell everybody where they can find Dad Smoking Cigars, Instagram, your YouTube, your show and everything. And I'll be right back while you do that.
All right. So, okay, as I have the floor, have the mic, those of you guys listening, you guys can find Dad Smoking Cigars on Instagram, dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram. We're also on Facebook, and you can find us on YouTube. Just type in Dad Smoking Cigars on YouTube and you'll find the channel. And please do subscribe to the channel. The channel is like the big thing for me right now. I want to try and get as much exposure and visibility on the channel as possible.
Now, which channel is that? I didn't hear all of it. So,
Dad Smoking Cigars, the YouTube channel, which I put out a video.
And I will put a link down in the show notes to Dad Smoking Cigars YouTube. And if you guys aren't subscribing yet, first of all, subscribe to freaking Cigar Talk, but then also go and subscribe to Dad Smoking Cigars, because I actually go by and watch some of your videos.
Yes,
and you guys, you do a good job. You do a good job. And people know that if I say you're doing a good job, you're actually doing a good job. Because if you're not doing a good job, I will not say that, because you know what?
Well, I appreciate that.
I don't promote shitty cigars, and I don't promote guys that are just doing content that sucks. I think you do a good job. If you didn't do a good job, I wouldn't have you on the show. That's how much of an asshole I am.
Well, it's good to know I'm at least doing something right. But no, I put out a video every week, you know, whether it's a review or just me kind of going on a tangent or some type of subject, you know. I
tell you what, if you like watching Cigar Talk, I highly recommend that Dad Smoking Cigars is a good compliment to our show, because you're going to get a good cigar review on Dad Smoking Cigars, and you're not really going to get a lot of that on our show. So it's a really good compliment. So I think that maybe we should do some more stuff going forward that it complements each other.
No, absolutely. And, you know, I love supporting other content creators, whether it's podcasts and stuff like that. You know, it's really important to make sure, you know, even if there's people you don't like that much within the community, which is bound to happen.
Oh, there's a ton of people I don't like in the community.
Yeah. But the important thing is you don't like stoop to a level of saying like, well, this person's a prick, this person's an asshole. You know, if you have private conversations about that.
No. I announced it on the show.
Okay, well, that's my policy.
You're a better man than me. I don't know if you know this, but we actually do two shows. Right. We actually do Cigar Talk, and then we do the Light 'em Up Crew Show. I would love to have you come back and do an interview just for that show.
Absolutely.
That's the show where there's no filter. There's no, like, you know how, like, every man on the planet has, like, the little angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other? We only let you and the devil in on the other show.
Nice. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. But no, yeah, the YouTube channel right now is the biggest priority for me, just because, like, you know, Instagram's great. You know, it's not like I don't care whether or not that grows, but it's not something that I really.
Don't you hate Instagram? Let's just be honest.
Well, I will say I like Instagram better than other platforms.
Well, yeah. And I'll tell you this, like Facebook, I hate.
Facebook is garbage. I hate Facebook.
And especially if I wanted to read all the political bullshit, I would just go to a political forum. But unfortunately, people think that Facebook is a political forum, so I hate that platform.
That's what it's become. But even before, like, all the political stuff it's not a user-friendly platform. It's hard as hell to get traction on a page. I remember just the blood, sweat, and tears I poured into other pages I did before Dad Smoking Cigars.
I don't ever you know what? I check the Cigar Talk Facebook business page about once a month. I'm horrible, but I don't like it.
I see, like, that somebody's liked posts that I put up on Facebook, because, you know, what I put on Instagram goes to Facebook. And it's one of those things where, like, if people see it and like it, great. I really don't care. Instagram is where I do the majority of my communication and posting. And Twitter. Don't even get me started on Twitter. Twitter is a shithole.
You know what?
I'm
Let
sorry.
me tell you this. I have recently, just like when I say recently, I mean within the last 3 weeks, started getting a lot of traction on Twitter.
Really?
And you know what? It's because I'm posting completely crazy shit. I'm not posting Cigar Talk shit. Like, I posted a picture of my shirt. I think it got retweeted 12 times.
Oh, my gosh.
And then when people retweet it, you start getting followers. And so I've never been a big fan. You know what I don't like about Twitter is that every response I make to someone is out there for everyone to see, including my wife. Including my wife. That's where the problem is, because my wife's like, you shouldn't be an asshole like that on Twitter. And I'm like, I can't help it. And see, you're like a nice guy. I'm not that nice.
You know, I try to be a nice guy, and then I have my moments depending on who I'm talking to and who I'm dealing with, where I'm just like, all right. And people are surprised. Like, there are people who are surprised.
Like, I would be shocked that you're an asshole. I would be shocked.
I have my moments, but it's usually saved for close friends and family.
See, I give that to the Light 'em Up crew, which is our Patreon group, and that's on the Light 'em Up crew show. I just tell it the way it is.
Yeah, no, people are surprised I get angry like that. That's apparently that's how,
because you don't look like an angry guy.
Oh, but I do get pissed when the occasion calls for it, and it surprises people so much it's frightening.
All right, I'm going to ask you a hard question.
Go for it.
Who, as a influencer, podcaster, whatever you want to call it, is the biggest bullshit artist we have? Because I can name about 6. Hey, I'm kidding. You don't have to answer.
No,
that.
I know. Well, I'm not to say that no one comes to mind would be a lie, just because, like, I'm not even going to get specific, you know, outside of names, like, because you can be vague and people will be like, I know exactly who the hell you're talking about.
Right.
So I won't even go into vague details about it, but, you know, just one of the things, and I'm going to put a video out on it pretty soon. I won't say what the video is about, but it has regarding cigar influencers and things like that. And basically the video is kind of like a how to not be a prick if you're going to be a cigar influencer.
Right.
Because
hey, you know what? That would be a great show. I will watch that show.
Because without going into it, because I don't want to give too much away and stuff like that, you'll know the video when you see the title.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've already recorded the video. I'm going to go through it and decide whether or not I want to re-record it, just depending, because you know how it is. You fine-tune stuff and you want it to be as clear as possible.
I don't know what you mean, because I don't re-record shit.
Okay, well, let's just say for the sake of argument, you want to be as concise as you can and stuff like that, especially when you're talking about something that might be a little controversial.
I don't re-record anything.
No, for me, that's something I have to keep in mind, because it's just like, I still want to keep the controversy in it, because, like, I don't want to worry about whether or not I'm being PC.
You're worried about possibly going off the deep end.
I'm comfortable with alienating people a little bit, as long as it's something that's helpful. Like
I am butt naked backstroking in the deep end. Okay.
not quite there, but might be a few steps shy of that. Because
so I'm going to make you feel a little uncomfortable, maybe.
Oh, well, you wouldn't be the first one.
Right.
People I've made friends with in this community. Are you kidding?
All right. So I don't know if you know this, and I can't imagine that you don't know this. Okay.
Okay.
Your old co-host does not like me.
You know, I actually didn't know that.
Are you serious?
No, I thought you guys got along just fine.
I get along fine, but apparently my drinking and my language was not appreciated.
There was, and I'm going to say this without trying to, rip too much on my old friend.
And I'm not ripping on him. I'm not ripping.
No, I know you're not. That's just my preface. That's my preface.
Everybody has the right to the level of morality that they want to have.
Exactly.
My level of morality, you would have to lift up your shoe to see it.
So, no, I remember when we kind of were branching out and he was doing his thing, I was doing my own. He would talk to me a little bit. He's like, I'm a little concerned about the language you're using and things you're saying. I'm like, why?
Funny thing is, when you first dropped the F-bomb earlier tonight, I was like, that's not going to fly with Tim.
And my response would be, I don't really care.
Well, my response to that is a little more deeper than that. My response to that is, that's who I am.
Right.
I can't, if I'm going to do the show, and I posted a review that somebody gave me yesterday on Instagram that was a complete shit. Like they hated my show. And that's okay, because I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Mm-hmm. But if you don't like me because I drink too much, I use a lot of vulgarity, that's cool. That you be you, because I'm damn sure going to be me.
Exactly.
And that's that. That's that. And so me and Tim and a few other guys started working together. And I'm going to tell you this. I've never said this on the show. And I probably should not say this on the show, but fuck it. You're on the show.
That's what editing is for, right?
I don't edit.
Okay. Then.
So back in the day when we were all working, because I had a vision at one time to bring 4 or 5 podcasters together and work.
I think I know what this is.
The
collective.
Yeah. Because that was actually my brainchild.
Mm-hmm.
And I bailed about 4 or 5 weeks in because I had the opportunity to start doing the replacement show for Cigar Dave. You know Cigar Dave. And
I think I do, yeah.
He's the biggest cigar guy on radio. And he's been doing it for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulled his show off of radio and said, you know what? I'm going to do it live stream, and I'm only going to do it for people who pay to listen. And you know what? I'm like, hats off to you, bro. You did it for 30 years. Do your thing. Well, then a radio station reached out to us and was like, hey, man, you want to take his spot? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. And you know what? I absolutely hated radio. I think we only did 8 episodes, and I called up the broadcast manager, and I was like, yeah, this ain't working. And he was like, yeah, it's not working for us either. But dude, the when you go to radio and you only have 13 minutes, and then you got to take a 2-minute break, and then you have 12 and a half minutes, and then you have a 2-minute, it's like you can't just relax and enjoy talking to your co-host.
No.
And it just made it not fun. And
no, that's the worst part about it, is that it's a little too streamlined, whereas you're doing a podcast. I mean, the floor is completely yours,
right? When we do our podcast, there's no rules.
No.
And so doing radio sucked. But anyway, when that opportunity came, I withdrew from the collective, which was actually my idea. But one of the things that made me jump on the opportunity to get the fuck out of collective was that Tim was very disrespectful and very dismissing of what I've done. And I've never said that publicly. So just because you're on the show, that brought it out. But
I'm going to be getting a phone call.
Yeah. So,
shit.
And you know what? I have no ill will towards Tim. I don't.
No, of course not.
He is I would like to say in my defense, he's like one of those holier than thou guys. And you know what? No, wait a minute. In this case, he's 100% true because he is way holier than me.
Me too.
But that's just not, we're two different guguys.
Right.
That doesn't mean either one of us is right. It just
right.
means we're not the right fit together.
And there was kind of similar things like, because again, Tim and I are good. We're on good terms. We don't see each other or talk as much as we used to because, again, life and just how things are. I'm
laughing because you don't know something that I did.
Well, should I know? Because, knowledge is a burden. And
I don't know if you know, but I was a photographer for 25 years.
I did know that about you.
Wow. Impressed.
I'm pretty sure.
So
I'm pretty sure Tim told me that.
Okay. So my Photoshop skills are pretty badass. I took a photo of Tim and Brandon, and I put Tim in a leather dominatrix outfit.
Oh my God, you did not.
I did.
You did not.
And I posted it.
Oh, you dick.
He had the leather hat with the beads across the front and the leather vest with studs all the way down.
You put Tim in the Village People? Is that
I
what
did.
You did.
I did. And it was phenomenal.
And how'd he respond to that?
He never responded.
Oh, dear.
So, and then, you know what? With him not responded, because I actually love a little tiff. I think it makes things interesting.
Definitely does.
And
I
think, let's just say that me and you got in a tiff, and it was a joyful back and forth. I think that's entertaining.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was no back and forth. It was just not well received. And I was like, okay, I'll not do that again.
God. Oh, man.
I can't believe I brought all that up, but it was, to be
fair, you've had a bit of the knob for a while, so.
Hey, I'm doing well, sir.
Yes, you are.
But, like I say, I have zero ill will towards Tim, but, and I don't say but because I don't believe that's true. The thing about it is you take two people and they're not always going to mesh well together.
Yeah. And that's kind of where Tim and I had different visions of what we wanted to do as far as cigar media and networking was concerned, because Tim had big, grandiose ideas, and they weren't bad ideas. They were just things he was trying to work out, like the cigar show and all that. I was involved with that for a period of time, and it just we butt heads periodically, and there was things we just weren't seeing eye to eye on. And I think that was kind of just what set the backdrop for that talk we had, where he says, I'm kind of thinking of doing my own thing. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's great. I'm cool with that. If that's what you want to do.
You're right.
It's if that's what you want to do, because then it takes the pressure off of both of us, because him and I didn't see things the same. It wasn't like we were screaming, having knockdown, drag out fights, but it was just it was not
meshing as well as it should.
We weren't able to gel on a number of things where it's just he wanted to do this, and I'm just I don't care about that. And I'm I just want to. I'm much more of a laid back kind of guy where I'm just yeah, you know what? I have ambitions and goals, but not the size of Tim's. Tim's has very big ambitions and goals. Not a bad thing at all, because gives him something to shoot for.
I have big ambitions and goals myself.
Yeah.
And I've learned to stifle those down into my soul.
Well, it's just it's figuring out which ones are the ones that are most worth pursuing, most worth your time, most worth your passion. And that's how I've, figured out with voice work and everything like that, what I want to do with Dad Smoking Cigars. Cause I don't care if I become this big name in
you're not looking to replace the Cigar Authority.
No, I'm not looking to replace anyone. I'm not looking to become this big name and have all this prestige.
See, I am 100% looking to replace the Cigar Authority. Like, to me, the Cigar Authority is number one. We all know they're number one. Yeah. But those dudes are getting fucking old. Can they die already? Can they just die already? Hey, you know what? I joke about that, but I am so appreciative of everything they have done because they have laid the groundwork for 12 freaking years, dude. Before people were doing what we do now, they were doing it. And so if you don't appreciate what those guys do, then fuck your show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's just it. Like, I strictly do this, honestly, for the fun of it, for the joy of it, for the fact that I get to interact and connect with people that, people like you, people like, just the Lewis and Paula and all these other people that I've gotten to know
that you would never get to know otherwise.
No, right. I would have never gotten to know them. I would never have the pleasure of getting to know them, spend time with them, hang out with them, do cool stuff with them if I didn't do this.
Right.
And that's the awesome part of it. And if that's all there is from this, if that's all that comes from this, fan-fucking-tastic. I'm cool with it.
Absolutely. I mean, when you actually get the passion of cigars in your blood and it gives you the opportunity to meet or talk to or, just be in the conversation with some people, it's like, dude, I do all this week to week just so I can talk to Robert Caldwell.
Nice.
Best interview I've ever had, Robert Caldwell.
I gotta say, man, the best. I'm trying to think back because it was when Tim and I were still doing it together. Probably the best interview that we did, or at least that I was a part of, was interviewing a former Power Ranger actor who happened to like cigars. No shit. And then going back to what this was kind of like a closing of a chapter, and I'm going to tell it really quick, really powerful story.
Hey, we're in no hurry. Take your time, tell all the details.
No, for sure. Okay, I told you about my nephew.
Yes.
One of the things my nephew did was went to all the comic conventions, cosplay, all that kind of stuff. That was his thing. He cosplayed as a myriad of superheroes, and one of the things he loved to do was the Power Ranger stuff. He dressed up as a few different things. One of them was this one of the Rangers from one of the series. It was called
what color was the Ranger? That's all I know.
He was the Black Ranger from Power Rangers in Space.
Okay.
And that was like the third or fourth series since it started back in the early 90s. And the actor who played that Ranger is a guy named Roger Velasco. And Roger, that guy is an absolute stud. Like, he is a hardworking man. He goes out and does a lot of different work in the community, helping out, kids who are, less fortunate and stuff like that. He does a lot of business around Los Angeles and stuff like that. But he still does the conventions. He still does all that stuff. He has a blast doing it. He was aware of my nephew and that he cosplayed as his character.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
He heard about, what happened when he passed. And so my wife and I went to the convention in Anaheim that was strictly Power Ranger dedicated convention called Power Morphicon. We went there. A couple of friends got us in, friends of my nephew's, and we got to meet him for the first time. And we told him who we were and why we were there and everything like that. And so couldn't have been a nicer guy. Well, after that, I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if this guy likes cigars. It was a random thought that I had, and it had been a few months since I'd seen him at that convention. And I just thought, what the hell? I'll shoot him a message on Instagram. I said, "You smoke cigars, man?"
Dude, you know how many times I send that same message? It's like, "Hey, do you smoke cigars?"
I was like, "You smoke cigars, man?" He's like, "Yeah, man, love cigars." And I'm like, "How would you like to do an interview on our YouTube channel?" And it took a while, took some doing. He finally was able to clear a day in his schedule, and he came on the show.
That is so cool, man.
got to talk about what I just told you about. And it was kind of a full circle moment, which was pretty incredible. Getting to talk to a guy that my nephew
idolized,
one of his heroes, that he idolized, that he dressed up as, it was such a cool thing to me. And it was pretty amazing. So if you haven't seen that episode, please go back and watch.
Do you know what episode that is by chance?
Well, it's on a playlist on Dad Smoking Cigars. And
okay.
It was a series that Tim and I did that was called the Cigar Sit Down. And he was like interview number 2. It's on a playlist. Go check it out. It was a fun one. I had so much fun with that one.
Well, let me tell you, do you know who this is on the YouTube channel and actually on the audio as well. Do you know who our number 1 guest has been across the board?
I do not.
Terry Runnels.
I'm sorry that I do not know who that is.
Terry Runnels is a hot chick that was a WWE wrestler, and she used to smoke cigars backstage. And whatever the guy's name is that's ahead of it, Steve McMahon or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, and he would tell her, "That stinks, get that the hell out of here." And she'd be like, "I'm going to finish my cigar." And anyway, she's retired now.
Right.
But the funny thing is, that's our biggest show ever. And I think it's because there's so many WWE fans that came and watched her. But the cool thing is, or I guess would be not so cool, was that like a month after McMahon or whatever his name is told her to quit smoking cigars backstage, Cigar Aficionado had him on the cover.
He got outed.
Yes. What does that tell you about Cigar Aficionado? All you need to know.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's lame. That's actually really lame.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, she's really cool. In fact, I would like to invite you to be a part of something.
Okay.
So me and Terry Runnels and a few other people are going to do a show together, and it is a complete charity show for Cigars for Warriors.
Okay.
Would you be down?
I'm definitely interested.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, it's going to be like me and Terry and you if you decide that you want to do it. And we're going to have a few other podcasters that can bring their audience to the group. And we're going to try to raise as much money or cigars for Cigars for Warriors. And I'm a big fan of Cigars for Warriors because I don't know if you know this, but they are a platinum rated charity. And what that means is, like, they have been audited and not a single person in the entire charity group takes a single dime. They all volunteer, and everything that gets donated goes straight to the soldiers.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, it's a great charity, and it's one that I've yet to get involved with, sadly. And it's like, I think about it, I'm like, you know what? I got plenty of cigars to share and donate. So it's like, I could at the very least do that.
Yeah.
So that sounds like an awesome thing.
I'm very fortunate because one of their guys that does events is only an hour from me, and the president of the organization is only 2.5 hours from me. So I've had the pleasure of working with them, and they're all veterans. And everybody like plays up this veteran thing, but those guys do it because they love the veterans, and they don't take a dime. I mean, these guys are working and doing their regular jobs, and then they still make time to do all this, and nobody gets paid.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's definitely, that's definitely at the heart of what a charity should be, because there are charity organizations where people work very hard, and if they do get paid, it's because they do deserve it, and stuff like that.
And then there's also a lot of charities where people work hard, but the president's getting paid $300 million.
Yeah, that's
and I'm not a fan of that.
No, absolutely not.
So,
but no, that sounds incredible. And if I'm able, I would love to be a part of that.
We will talk to you, and we will see what we can do to get you involved. I would love to have you involved with that, and
that'd be awesome.
Anything that we can do, because we want to give back, and if I can give back, if you can give back, and other people can contribute, I don't know of another cigar-related entity that does what they do.
Right. No, I haven't heard of a single other organization, institution that is cigar related that does that. I mean, it's incredibly unique in that, like, I've never heard of an organization that gives, sends cigars to veterans and stuff like that. I know they do more than that, but
they actually take requests on what people want that's overseas in like wartime, and it's not just cigars. It might be magazines, it might be video game consoles, it might be whatever, but it gives the opportunity for those soldiers over there to experience what they are missing at home.
Right. Some kind of normalcy, some kind of luxury that helps them, continue on what they're doing and cope with it, and without feeling like they're just
now
all there is.
Were you ever in the military?
No, but I have.
So you are a worthless piece of shit like me. And I joked,
I had recruiters try to get me. They tried to get me, but it was one of those things where, like, I respected the military, I respected those who volunteered, and those who, especially because when I was graduating high school, it was immediately after 9/11.
Wow.
I graduated a year after 9/11 happened. I was a senior in high school.
I graduated right before we went to the Gulf in the first time.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of friends that signed up and went. I went down to the recruiter's office. They promised me that within 4 years I'd be a general, and I was all excited about it. And they said, well, hey, man, come back next Thursday. We'll do the drug test. We'll get you entered. And I was like, drug test? So I never went back.
Sorry, boss. I like the devil's lettuce a little bit too
I
much.
grew up in the 80s. So yes. Drug test. Anyway. Well, hey, man, that's going to wrap it up for this interview. And I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on the show, dude. I've really enjoyed it. I hope that we can work together in some other aspects of content. And
I would love that.
Dude, I'm a big fan of what you do. And if I
Thank
wasn't,
you so much, and likewise.
If I wasn't a big fan of what you do, I wouldn't invite you on the show.
I believe you.
You notice Tim's never been on. I'm kidding.
I actually did. It was one of those things where it was like, I thought he had been on the show, but
nope.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
I'm kidding. Tim, I love you. We don't mesh because, one, we're from different generations, and two, you have a lot more morality than I do. I you know what? When you get to be 53, when you say I'm going to enjoy every day, you can't put a lot of morality in that.
No, I'm seeing that more and more, definitely, as I get older. But no, but this was great. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Rob. It was a pleasure, and looking forward to doing more.
All right, man. Well, hey, make sure you check out, because when we go to TPE, I'm going to be live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Oh, I will be watching a lot of it, just because watching a lot of it with envy.
Right. I wish you were there, because we would be hanging out, bro.
Yes, absolutely. But you know what? There's
always next time.
Always next year. There's always next year.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, definitely that is a goal of mine to definitely get to TPE next year.
Well, hey guys, if you don't check out already Dad Smoking Cigars, go by his YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. I'll have the link down in the show notes. Don't fuck around. Go by, subscribe to his page, because if you want honest, real cigar reviews, which I don't do, this dude is knocking them out, and I appreciate it. I honestly do, because when you give a review, it's from the real heart. It's not just, and, you already told me nobody's paying you to give good cigar reviews, and that's my deal. You can't pay me to give a good cigar review. Either you're good or you're not.
The review is actually called the No Bullshit Cigar Review. So it's I tend to give pretty good, pretty nice reviews to most cigars, but I'm still honest throughout. I was like, I had a problem with this. I had an issue with this. So it's like, it's pointless to give a review about a cigar if you're not going to be honest.
Let me ask you one question before we go.
Okay.
Have you ever got ready to do a cigar review and you cut it and you did a cold draw and it was plugged?
Thankfully, I haven't yet.
All right. Because, what do you
Watch
do?
After this, that's what's going to happen.
Right. You're like, damn that Jones. Hey, man, thank you again for coming on the show. I really enjoyed it. It's been long overdue to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
And we will definitely not wait this long for the next one.
Absolutely not. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to the next time.
My pleasure, brother, and take care and stay smoky.
Where? Did you do that?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, thanks for hanging through the break. Appreciate Kyle hanging out with us and getting to know him. That was a long interview, but we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to do something with him in the near future,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
He told me he was going to go to the PCA in July.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm not going to July and August. It's too damn hot. I am in Texas. I don't want to go somewhere
hotter. Yeah.
But if I'm going to leave in Texas in July or August, I'm going to the mountains. Seriously.
Somewhere it's cooler.
Oh, dude, I wish I lived in the mountains.
For real?
Oh, dude.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
The spring, summer, and fall weather is amazing.
Okay.
And in the summer when it's, I don't mind the snow as long as it's not like blowing.
Okay.
But
you're that high up, so
I don't mind.
It's going to be blowing.
Not always.
Yeah.
Dude.
I used to wake up when I was stationed at Fort Lewis, I used to wake up and look at my mirror, my window, and I see Mount Rainier every day. And it was just wild to me. It'll be 80 degrees in Tacoma, and it's still snow up there on the mountain.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, why is it still white up there?
There's snow in the summertime when you go up into the Rockies.
That's what that used to kill me. And we had guys that were, man, we're going skiing. I'm like, dude, it's June. There's snow up there.
Yeah, I love the mountains, though. The trees, the beauty.
Yeah.
It's just...
what blew my mind when I got here to Texas?
That there's nothing.
Well, where there are mountains,
barren.
It's on somebody's land, so they own that mountain.
Not all of them.
How do you own the mountain?
Not all of them.
The mountains that are on people's land, they own that.
Well, yeah, they bought the land.
So how do you own a mountain?
You bought the land.
But that's a mountain.
Well, a mountain, a car...
You can't own the car if you bought the land. I'm DMV.
You can own the car.
No, you can't.
Why?
You can't because that's not your property. The only way you can own that car is if they spell it out in the deed that this car came with that land.
No, I'm not talking about a car and the mountain. I'm just saying you could go buy a car.
Oh, yeah,
you can go buy a mountain. You can buy an island.
Yeah, I can believe buying an island, but buying a... Who wants to buy...
It's land.
Who wants to buy a mountain?
What happened?
We went dark.
Wow. All right. So where were we? We were talking about Kyle joining us.
Yes.
Thanks, man. We had a little technical, but no, thank you for stopping by. We're going to do something, I'm working behind the scenes with Terry Runnels to do a charity show. It's going to be a live stream, and it's going to be for the Cigars for Warriors. Mm-hmm. And right now, Terry Runnels is going to do it. we're going to do it, and I'm getting some other people involved to participate.
You gonna get the pulpit in there?
Yeah, if he'll do it. You know,
they should do it. They better do it.
I told Nick.
Yeah, Nick could do it. Gator, you got to find out where he's at the time.
If he's not in jail. So, anyway, I guess let's jump right into the old pick six.
Pick six.
I'm going to let you go first.
I know. My pick six for this week, coming in at number 3, was the Caldwell Long Live the King. The one that you
Lancero.
gave. Oh,
Did you like that?
yeah.
I gave one to Bill today or somebody, and I don't even think they smoked.
Casey.
Yeah,
you gave it to her. She
but
was
then
smoking
she gave it
something
to
else.
Bill.
She did?
And then Bill didn't want it.
Because it was a Lancero?
Well, he didn't want to smoke it right then.
Yeah, okay.
I think he took it with him.
Okay.
But he said he loves Lanceros. I don't.
I know.
You know, the thing about a Lancero is you have to baby it.
Yeah, you're not a baby. You're
I'm
a smoker.
Not. I am
You're a smoker.
not. Yeah, I mean, it's like if someone
Wahoo
was
for real.
breaking in my house and I pulled out my shotgun, I would have my cigar in my mouth. You know what I mean? I'm not going to quit smoking it.
just to pop one off on them. My number 2 was the Roma Craft Black Irish.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I had one of those last week.
I got 2 of them. I dropped one, came back here to find it. Somebody
And
picked it up.
that's why I smoked the one that dude sent to you. Because you always have them. I never have them. Look, I'm farting.
I said Black Irish. I didn't say one lust.
Oh.
So you just sit there. I smoked your shit. I'm going to give you a lie why I did it, but I smoked it.
No. Let's tell everybody how this happened. I asked him earlier, hey, man, last week I told you I got you a Wonderlust.
Did I give it to you?
Did I give it to you? And he was like, And
No.
I was like, yeah. And
I
he's
was
like,
like,
no.
no.
And I was like, well, then I smoked it. Because it was in the humidor, and I couldn't remember if I smoked mine, if I had smoked yours, and if you'd had yours. So I ended up smoking it. And let me say, I don't think you would have liked it.
Why?
I loved it.
I loved it.
It was amazing.
I love Wonderlust.
Well, sorry.
I see. My number 1 this week, we already talked about it. McCalliff lay in the number 2.
Oh, good smoke,
Dude.
and
Like I said, I gave you mine last week after the Cowboys lost. I gave you something, kind of
ease the pain.
And then I went home, I smoked the other one.
All
Because
right,
it was supposed to be my victory cigar.
Did you see the shirt I made?
Which one?
I made a shirt, and I actually put it up on the website to be sold.
Which
and
one?
I'll show you. Hang on a minute. I got to
She made
pull it
a lot
up.
of shirts here lately.
Oh, dude, that's what I do. Tell me you don't love this. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Isn't that great?
The Kool-Aid one for the Cowboys.
It says, Cowboys Kool-Aid. Drink it up, Cowboy fans.
I need to get one of them in a medium for my son. I'm serious. I need to get one of them in a medium. I'm going to go on the website.
So, I'm a Cowboy fan,
Yeah.
but I don't drink the Kool-Aid.
True.
How many Cowboy fans thought they were going to the Super Bowl?
Dude, too many. And we were here, and everybody in here was a Cowboy. I was the only one in San Fran gear, and I felt the heat. Remember when Dak threw that interception, and I jumped up, and Joe told me, sit down, Brian.
And see, I mean, yeah, I would have loved to have seen them win the game,
Yeah.
but
I wouldn't have.
I did not have
You weren't
any
as
faith.
vested. Yeah, you weren't that totally vested into it.
Well, I mean, and I heard a rumor today that McCarthy may not have a job next year. And I think really you want to keep the offensive coordinator. That's the only way you're going to keep him.
Yeah, he has to. But that's the way they did with, what's his name?
Right.
Whoever it was that went to the Giants. But the point of it is, until Jerry stops putting his hands in there,
It's all the same.
it's all the same. It's going to be the same thing every year.
You can point fingers.
He said the perfect thing after the game. He said, the time is getting short, and with the team we have now, this is not acceptable. Yeah, it's not. Truthfully,
and when he says the time is getting short, he's talking about how old he is.
truthfully, it should have been a closer game than it was. I still wanted the 49ers to win,
but looking at it just as an outsider, dude, they didn't play good.
They didn't.
They haven't played good for weeks.
And that's the coach's responsibility.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to pull out of your players everything that's in them. And if you can't do that, you're not doing your job.
Is the coach able to do his job?
Not when the owner has his hand. It's truly the one in charge.
Right.
Because, like they said, there's no way Belichick and Brady had his way. It's a lot of things he wanted to do, but Belichick was still the coach. He was still the one that was responsible for everything. And they did it his way. And when Brady got tired of doing it his way, what did he do? He left and went to Tampa Bay.
Right.
So it's still Belichick's team. He's the coach. He's the one responsible for everything.
And Kraft is never involved.
No, man.
And
Kraft
Jones,
sits back there and just smiles when they win.
The only time Jones was not in charge is when Jimmy Johnson was winning Super Bowls. And that's why it didn't work. And I'll tell you this, dude. Right after Jimmy Johnson, right after the Cowboys made it to the playoffs the last year that they won the Super Bowl,
95.
Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
No,
that was 94.
Right. My dad said, this is Jimmy Johnson's last year. And I was like, no way. He's at the winning peak.
He is, but...
And my dad was like, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. And I would have never believed it.
Because all the accolades were going to Jimmy and not to Jerry. And he lets everybody know that's his team. Well, you're the owner. Everybody knows it's your team.
Right.
But come on, man. The thing about the Bartolo, when we were the dynasty in the late 80s, beginning of the 90s, he was the owner, but he let Walsh run that team. He stayed out of it. And what did we do?
All the great teams did that. You've never had a great team that had an owner with his hand in the pie.
The last time that happened and it was successful was the Chicago Bears under George Halas. He was the owner and still the coach, though. See, that's the thing. He was the owner and the coach.
Right.
But when you're the owner today, there's no owner today.
And was he the owner or the coach first?
He was the, I think he was the coach first. Then he bought the team, the Bears.
Okay.
Yeah. And they still own it.
Really?
Yeah, the Halas family still own it.
Wow. Yeah. Who owns the Steelers?
The Rooneys.
Legends.
You're talking about legends. The Rooneys, Halas. You go with...
and I'll even give Jerry Jones the status of legend.
Because what happened.
Look at what he's done.
That's what I'm saying.
NFL as a whole.
Dude.
I mean, if you look at how the NFL has evolved since he came in the league.
He was the acceptable Al Davis.
Oh,
because he went against it. He went with Miller Lite because Budweiser was the NFL sponsor. He's like, no, this is my team. This is my stadium. We're sponsored by Miller Lite.
Yeah, you can put Budweiser on the TV, but on the field,
you're gonna see his Miller Lite.
And they sold Miller Lite.
Yes.
They didn't even sell Budweiser.
Nope.
And then also, I mean, look at the amount of money that he paid players back before the salary cap. He's the reason there was a cap.
Yep.
Because
that's how y'all got Deion from us.
Oh, dude, we were stacked in every.
See, the thing was, we were missing one thing. We needed a shutdown corner, and then when we took Deion from Atlanta. We got that shutdown corner, and what happened that year?
Right.
It was the end for y'all.
Dude, and then, we threw 4 interceptions in the first quarter.
And then the next year, y'all take Deion from us, and it's the exact same thing, but reverse.
And we kept him until he was old.
Yeah.
But, all right, well, let's jump into my 3 this week.
Yes, sir.
First, right out of the gate, I'm going to go with the Tabonero, Connecticut. I've been killing those every morning with the coffee. It is. And I mean, to me, I have a tough battle because it really depends on what mood I'm on And, like, if I want something more on the spicy side, I'll go with a McCalliff, Connecticut. If I want something that is more not as spicy, I go with the La Galera. If I want something buttery, creamy, dude, the Tabonero all day long. Like, I didn't even know what creamy meant until I started smoking those. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Dude, out of the park, man. And then number 2 this week was the One Night Stand by Robert Caldwell. Have you had one?
Yes. I've had a few.
Yeah, dude, that was a great stick.
That's a good stick, man.
That was a
That's
great
a good stick.
And then my last one this week, and this is number one by far, was Bryant's Wonderlust. Man, Bryant, that was a great stick.
Can I do that on live?
Woo! So no, it was phenomenal.
Then you gonna say Bryant's Wonderlust?
Well, it was.
No, that's Roma Craft's Wonderlust if you smoke it. It's not mine.
I didn't know that was yours. What happened here?
He said loud enough.
Yeah. So anyway, so the next announcement is we're going to be doing Vegas next week.
Yes, sir.
Now, we got John Madden of co-host here who doesn't fly, so he's not going. And I would never drive. That's I'm too old for that. I'm not driving that far. I think it's like 40 hours.
It's not 40 hours, dude.
Well, when you drive 5 hours and stop every 8 hours, it is. I
think it's the same going to Vegas from here as me going home to Illinois.
No. No way. Dude, you're going, first of all, it's 4 hours just to get out of Texas. That's it. I mean, at least 4 hours.
Oh, you talking about going to Vegas?
Yeah.
It's 6 hours because you go heading toward El Paso.
I'm talking about driving.
It's 6 hours.
So 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go through New Mexico. You got to go all the way through Arizona.
They're not as big as Texas.
They're not small.
They're not as big as Texas because it's closer from El Paso to Vegas than it is El Paso to Dallas.
Really?
Yes.
Well, so are we. But the other way around. So I don't know what that means. So anyway, we're going to go, and I got my friend Tim. Tim is going to assist me.
He's going to be your producer.
He's going to be the producer. He's going to lug that around.
That's why you taking him. Tim, I need you, man. He's like, why? I need you to be the producer. The carrier.
I need you to carry all this.
Be a St. Bernard for me. Oh, we tearing up stuff over here.
Way to go. Anyway, somebody's over here tearing shit up. Yeah. You know, there's some people in here that I don't know that they should be in here. Scott Fritz. Anyway, we're gonna go to TPE, and I can't wait because we are gonna interview a lot of people.
Yeah.
We're gonna interview cigar manufacturers. We're gonna interview a lot of influencers from Instagram. We're gonna interview people off the street that know nothing about cigars.
Off the street.
We'll walk up and be like, "Hey, come here.
You want to be on a live stream? Yeah. How much?"
Right. I did ask my wife permission.
Oh, no.
I asked my wife permission. I
to
said,
do what?
Are you okay if I get my picture made with one of those showgirls with all the big feathers, you know? And she was like, "Yeah, I don't have a problem with that." And I was like, "Hey, you know, I got it golden with my wife. I don't want to be like, what the hell?" You know?
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that's cool. And anyway, what did he say here? Bryant would fly first class. I'm a big guy. Yeah, the big guy, when they hit the ground crashing, dies with everybody else, and that's why he's not going.
See, my thing is I just don't fly no more. It's not the size thing.
Yeah.
It's the fact. The last time I flew was 97, coming back from Sacramento. And my ex-wife, we were married at the time, her aunt owned a travel agency. So she got me a nonstop and from Sacramento to St. Louis. And we hit a storm from Sacramento all the way to St. Louis. Ooh. Turbulence. When we touched down in Lambert, I was done. I was like, I ain't leaving the ground again.
Me and my two kids flew from Houston to Lubbock. And Molly was 2. Luke was like 3.5. Mm-hmm. And the turbulence were so bad. I mean, dude, and I told somebody it felt like we were doing like 8-10 feet like this. I'm serious.
I can believe it.
And you know what this guy said? He's a pilot.
Uh-huh.
He said, when you feel that, it's more like 30 to 40 feet.
Nah, bruh.
But at one time,
you're not helping this out.
My daughter says, Daddy, are we going to crash? And I was like, shh.
Don't say that.
Don't freak everybody out.
Dude, no, man, no. And then I was in St. Louis. I went to St. Louis, and my wife flew out there. And she told me, she said they had turbulence the entire way. She said, I'm not flying back. I'm going to stay longer so I can ride back with you. I was like, and she's a flyer. She'll fly anywhere. I was like, if you're scared, what makes you think I'm going to get back up there?
I'm not really afraid to fly.
Man,
You know what? I don't like flying. I really don't like flying because for me, it's like, it's no different than being on a Greyhound bus.
True, in a certain extent. Yeah.
I mean, you got to go to a terminal. You got to fight like hell to do all your BS. You got to have people check your stuff. You got to stand in line. I don't enjoy all that. And then you got to wait to get on the plane, and then you get on the plane, and there's always a bunch of morons, people that are just either rude or stupid, or both.
More likely both.
And it's like they're like trying to jam stuff in the bags. Oh, man, we lost video again. That's going to wrap up this week's show. Thanks for stopping by, and until next week,
keep smoking.